Oh, hey, tell us about the one little Instagram, one little thing I remember is there's always gigs at Bowen Club, and you guys managed to get to the Bowen Club by water. Was that an epic encounter?
Oh, that was yeah. The boys were talking about it, like how cool would it be? Like we'll take the boat up to the Bowen Club. I'm like, it's pretty impossible to get there, and they're like, no, we've got this boat. So I was like, all right,
you got to be light enough.
Guys are having it. Yeah. But then you have to be light enough to actually get the boat on the plane as well. So, and then we left the Ocean Grove boat ramp. We got all the way out through the Thunderbolt. The tide was low, so we couldn't really get it past.
Well, that wouldn't have helped. You'd want a higher tide too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, high tide is the best tide. So we literally had to push the boat so far to get it into Lake Connewarre.
Yeah.
And then once we got into Lake Connewarre, we couldn't get the boat onto the plane. So we're literally just putting and it was that shallow that the boys could actually run next to the boat while we were trying to get it. So we'd try and get the boat on the plane and going, and they'll be running to try and jump in. But it still didn't work. And then we got past the actual Lake Connewarre, and then we got into the Barwon River, in the second part. And then we literally didn't know. I've never done it. No one's ever done it. So we got to
every bit. There's certain sections where it's all open water, but it must have been brutal at times.
Oh yeah. So there was this. So we had a weir that was I think a meter and a half tall. So it's where the water goes and just falls over the top.
Yeah.
So we had to drag the boat fully around and up and over it. And then one of the guys smoked his foot on that because he got it stuck under the boat, get on the metal part of the weir.
Who was that?
And we're like, it was I think it was Josh. I think he smoked himself twice. It was Adam, one of Adam Luke's mates, Josh.
Yeah.
And then so we got to there, and then we got to we went past the ski club and everything, and there was ski boats going past us, and we're just putting along. And then we got to another obstacle where there was a bridge, and it's do not enter, bridge about to collapse or something. And it was the old railway line.
Yeah.
And there was these big water tank things that were in the water to try and stop boats from going through, and we just we got them over us. And then
how long did it take?
It took 4.5 hours. And then but then we got to that the road at Breakwater. You know how that used to flood all the time, that one?
That one, yeah.
But now they got the new big one. So then we had to actually lift the whole boat and carry it over the road. That was the sketchiest part because there was police there all the time. And the boys had a few drinks. And I was I'm the one who's driving. I'm the one who's responsible for all these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm this is I'm the one who's going to get in shit. If the
you
police
lose your license and all the rest of it, eh?
Yeah, I know. So, but I was it's worth it because who's done this before? Yeah. And then we literally got coming up the river right on sunset. The sun was just setting. It was so beautiful and the glassy, and you could see the Skilled Stadium in the background, and everyone's just frothing. And
so you got the shot.
Yeah, we got the shot, and we tied it up to a tree. They thought they padlocked it, but all they did was padlock the chain to itself. And then we went to the Barwon Club, and the boys picked up the boat the next day. So
yeah, you wouldn't want to be not going back again.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, I think that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Yeah.
Classic story. So, what is there any? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey? You talked a little bit about the giving back side of things, the surfing and your faith, and can you encapsulate the essence of that sort of in a nutshell, in a short tale?
About giving back, surfing.
Just how you work with, you've done the you've worked with your doco, the charities.
Yeah.
You work with Monster and Zorali, and how that all sort of fits into your life.
Well, it's pretty much just my philosophy on life and doing life is just, instead of living for yourself, to live, for other people as well. So kind of give them an opportunity that, they wouldn't be able to get, or that either by helping someone out or, taking someone on a surf trip or something like that. So it was kind of like that doco that we did with time I spent with Declan and a bunch of other Groms, up over to Panama, and even doing the stuff with Monster Surf with Cam Greenwood, and that he helps out the club. So, but yeah, so it's kind of the same thing of, being here for greater purpose than just ourselves. So going out, on these trips and stuff, instead of just going to surf, why don't you go and help out a community, go buy some water filtration, and help out people who are in need, kind of thing, while you're actually going on a surf trip. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Because for me, it's to see people stoked on getting clean water or something, or cleaning the rubbish up on the beach somewhere random overseas. The locals kind of just like this isn't just like this normal tourist who just wants to surf and get drunk kind of thing. And then when they see kind of us doing it, sometimes they start doing the same kind of thing. So it's really cool to even see impact in other people's lives just from the little things.
Yeah, well, once you get out and live a little and you see these other parts of the world, and I think when you're young, when you travel, you just think, maybe Bali's it, and the Surrey Club and all that sort of stuff. And then you broaden your horizons, you go out to further reaches of Indo and you learn what that's about. And then, you never ever want to go near places like Kuta. That's just a bit of an analogy. I ended up in Sumba, and there's some seriously, third world of the third world places out there, isn't there?
It's everywhere.
Until people really get to see that, it's an eye opener for some people. So it's about the stories that people like you come back with to share with everyone before a lot of people sort of get it and understand how lucky they are. Hey?
Yeah. That's why one thing I want to try and get the Groms around 13th, because we are so privileged in Australia, and for them to see that kind of side of things is literally life-changing. I know for me, a massive life-changing thing was when my parents took me to Africa when I was 12 years old, and it's pretty much probably changed me from when I was 12. So you can be changed and moved when you're young. So I think that's when it can really impact you to, live a little different as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably shaped you in a massive way, just something like one trip.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think we've been able to uncover some pretty cool little stories and get a bit of a snippet. I mean, this platform is really to try and inform people update people about the club, and try and give them an insider's view into sort of the reasoning about why we do things sometimes, but also bring in people like yourself that's been club president, and just just like a special type local that's influenced a lot of people, and it's you're a fun guy to be around, and you've obviously shaped and sort of enjoyed things with a lot of people in the area. So I'm just going to finish on, I've got a set of questions I like to ask everyone.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you feel like, I don't know, club related or not, that anything else that you had in your head that you was thinking might be worthwhile talking about?
I was thinking that, going, oh, maybe I should have thought up some questions. I'm like, what does he want to know? Does he want to know funny stories from the past, or? And I'm like, shit, because I was so bad at delegating when I was president. So I was just like, there's so many stories of me just
stuck with doing everything.
Stuck with doing everything, but just the worst organisation skills ever.
Really?
And having when the club got sent to Sydney to surf in the national tag titles,
Oh, yeah.
like me not organising any accommodation and organising it just with a friend's parents and then pulling out at the last moment. And then we ended up all sleeping on the tabletop bench down at Manly foreshore on the foreshore, like literally, and crew sleeping under the car, and then getting the comp and not having a senior surfer and finding a guy from South Australia to surf for us. And it was, so it was kind of like,
who went on that one?
Oh, there's a bunch of randoms. It was like John, like who was there? It was far out. I can't even remember who was there. Cam Rensenbrick was there.
Yep.
I don't even know I think it was just there for fun. Mitch Davies was there for fun. Travis Bristow, he was in it. Jai Martin was in it. I think I was in it. I can't remember if Baxter was in it or not. But yeah, that was actually such an epic trip just to go up. But it was like the worst organized. I was just like, I have just failed.
So that's your thing with, like, is that what people, again, that you think people will remember you about the most, as being a president, being a shit organizer?
Yeah, maybe, like, literally, if the surf was crap, I would cancel it and postpone it till when it was offshore and I would want to surf. So it was probably, everyone loved it because they always got good waves, but it sucked for people who like to be organised. So
I can reason with that. Like, it's so hard in this day and age when typically there's a lot of groms around, and the mums and dads thinks it's, you know, footy or soccer or whatever, and they just tell them a time and they'll be there. And I'm one of these, like, Higo jokes. He calls me, instead of CP, he calls me KP because I'm the commissioner. And I'll only call it on if I think if it's something I'll actually want to surf in myself. And like, I won't surf comps at Grove just because it's big and onshore. I just refuse. And it's sort of, it goes against the grain for some people, but like, if there are seasons where there's waves, we're generally going to get them. And if not, then sometimes you just got to roll the dice and get it done. Like, we've run 5 comps already this year out of the 8, just because I just wanted to get on with it, and at least we can have some final standings, because we're probably not going to get another one now. But
no, that's definitely, that was good. It happened early then.
So what?
Unless you wanted to change it back to end at the end of the year, because I changed it so it would end in the middle of the year. I was the one who did it.
So I've always asked about who's responsible for the financial.
That was me. So
sorry,
guys.
How did that come about? This should be a good story. Or something worth knowing.
I think I literally just kind of was just, I think I was just burnt out a little bit and was just kind of just pushing it. And then we just didn't finish all the comps. I'm like, we'll just finish it next financial year. So we'll just change it so it's all financial year.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's fully changed now. Pretty much. So sorry guys if you didn't like it, but
it works for the treasurer. Everyone else just gets confused.
Fully. Like, it's nice to finish the end of the year in summer, but winter's good as well.
And it also means that, like, your club champ doesn't get to surf the trials for another, like, 8 months.
Fully. Whoops, my bad.
But I don't know. I just kept it rolling. You could be onto something there. I mean, I think we've run enough comps to continue to do that. And it'd take for a massive shift to do much about it. I'm not sure if I thought there were other reasons.
No, that was the main reason.
Because you're lazy.
So that was like one of the last years I did it. I was like
you get pretty cooked. You did. I noticed you'd done like a pretty big haul. Like Sim and Mouse did like about 7 years, and you did about the same.
Especially kind of Banjo's dad was, Steve was such a massive impact on the club, and so was Banjo and Cole, and I know Cole still is, kind of thing. So
so sorry, you just cut out there. You want to just say that again? Like
where did it go from? I was just saying how Steve Harfield was such a massive help. Like, with all the meetings and stuff, be in his
Oh,
place.
towards the end of your tenure, you mean?
Oh, it was literally. Oh, he was like a part of it from nearly the start. Dick Field was
Really?
huge.
So Steve, because
Yeah,
I obviously I mean I'm in the committee 5 years when Steve was, really pushing banjo with everything that had to tick for the club. So he was there for your tenure.
he was helping me out as well for like probably 4 years, I reckon. Because I was really like, me and Banjo were like, we'd freaking surf so much together. So we're like really good mates. And and he was a huge part of the club as well. And Gus was a massive part. And it was good having a bunch of, especially when kind of like Simo and Mouse and Benny and all that kind of moved on. I was just like, oh shit. And then a lot of the old guys jumped in to try and help out. Yeah. And it's still like it worked, but it was just after 6 years, it was pretty tiring.
Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? To have people your age at the time to be running the club. I think my concern when the Harfields were cooked was that I was the only one who had time on my side to actually take over. And I was kind of somewhat reluctant because I just always considered myself like a caretaker president because I always wanted someone who was more that younger age to represent, be the face of the club, where I've somehow ended up being the face when I don't think it's good looking enough, really. But
nah, mate, you're pretty. It's all good.
I'm not pretty enough. So, I bet you get a lot of it's rewarding. So you stick around until someone else puts their hand up, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's especially when the best times were at the presentation after you had pumping 4 to 5 foot beacon all day and like everyone was frothing and it was packed and you had bunch of open Bs, bunch of open As, heaps of the juniors, and everyone just giving you a real good crack and everyone helping out. I think that's the biggest thing is club just needs people to step up and help out and learn how to judge properly and be around for the day, not just kind of rock up and then piss off kind of thing.
Yeah, that whole thing, it's so hard to teach a lot of people or just so hard for them to get them to continue to come to grips with the fact that, you go away from the beach and things happen. Like the amount of people who have a sook about missing their heat because they won't judge and they won't help or whatever. But it's like, well, and then it's more, when you've got good waves and you've got, it's cooking and, people are happy to stick around, but it's not always like that. And if you don't have that core of people that are happy to sort of do the thing for you, then you really struggle. Like we've got a lot of good families at the moment, so there's a lot of people that have bought in, and there's a lot of it's generally really healthy that way.
For sure.
But I mean, I feel a little bit guilty. There's been that generational shift where a lot of the people sort of your age and under have just are so busy either working or they've had their own stuff going on or they're having kids or whatever. Like that party scene's kind of gone and all the rest of it. But I suppose, like I said, over time it all goes in waves and troughs and whatever.
Oh yeah, comes and goes. Yeah.
So how was your transition then from the Sim and Mouse era? Because at the end of the transition, it's always tricky because you're cooked. And so they would have been cooked and you sort of holding the can. Like, were you already on the committee or you just had to sort of go, right, I better do this?
I think I just started on the committee and then they're like, oh, like, Elliot, you'll be good for this. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, all right, I can do this. Yeah. and they stuck around and they helped out. They were like major help for so long.
Cool.
Like, especially if like all the graphic design and that, Benny killed it on the graphic design and all the spreadsheets and all the text messaging. Everything was all text messages back in the day, and we would be sending newsletters out instead of emails. And it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot different at the start, and then it's all started to change when I reckon in my era, even with, I think, the group message pretty much might have started near the end of Sim, but definitely started like when I was doing it. So we'd be sending out group messages either the Friday night saying if it was on or if it was off kind of thing. Just depends on the
Yeah,
conditions and
because you weren't using, like, now, I suppose we've got to hope that people read social media. Otherwise, you can't do it
yeah,
any other way.
yeah, yeah.
So
Unless you had people's phone numbers and you could send text messages,
Mhm.
because that's still a thing, I think. So yeah,
Yeah, it's still a
I still
thing.
get I still get emails from the company that I think I signed up for 13th. They're like, "Are you still interested?" I'm like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, there's a lot of spam, that's for sure.
yeah, I know.
So yeah, I'm going to flick to these questions.
Yeah,
So let's rifle these off. I can't remember what time our call started. We might be getting close to an hour now. So Cam's probably going to chop this in half for me because I've been given a directive around timelines.
yeah. Shit, sorry.
Cam's our creative editor. He's
Oh
a
yeah.
legend. Yeah, he's like, there's nothing much Cam can't do. Righto. Question 1. Who would you rather
Cam
be?
who?
Cam Lampard.
Okay, good on you, Cam. Yeah, all right, go.
Who would you rather beat in a heat?
Baxter.
Straight off. That's the quick
Yeah,
fire answer. Love it.
yeah,
You've already given reasoning because he's a competitive weapon, isn't he?
yeah. He's if it's kind of like niggling, so it's just like you pushing buttons into him. If you can take him out in the heat, it's just like, oh, I got you on this one. You're like, and then
So
he'll
there's
just
banter.
get the
So there's
then he'll.
banter during a heat.
Oh no,
Or
no,
after.
it's when you come in.
Right.
Yeah, after. Yeah. So nah, definitely Baxter.
Hang on, mate. I'm running out of light here from my window. I'm turning the light on.
Yeah.
Question 2.
Yeah.
Biggest influence on you as a person?
I'd say my faith, Christianity, God.
Okay, cool. Because next question means you have to split it because it's a similar question. Who do you most look up to?
It would have to be.
It has to be a person.
Has to be a person.
Yeah.
Probably one of my mates, James Fazio, the guy I did the documentary with.
Right.
He was the director for the documentary. He's just like the stories of, that he's got are just incredible. Like he could do a movie on his life kind of thing. Like he's been through that 9.4 earthquake in Peru, like holding up like houses and stuff and rescuing ladies from the tsunamis, like old grandmas, and running down before the tsunami kind of hit. And he's just an amazing guy, and he just has the biggest heart for just people. Yeah, and he's got 3 epic little kids now. Yeah, he's probably one of the guys I look up to most.
It's always good when it's someone you least expect. I mean, it could be someone superficial that pops into your head, but I think when it comes to really looking into yourself, like if you can, I mean, this guy's, he's going to be stoked that you said that. So if you could only surf one wave for the rest of your life, let's say you were stuck somewhere, because obviously at the moment it's pretty easy to make that correlation. If you could go somewhere that was cooking every day, don't worry about it being if it was typically a fickle wave. If you could surf, if you could be stuck somewhere and you're allowed to surf, where would it be?
Like, it would be All-Time Beacon.
All-Time Beacon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like if it was on like every day, like you know how it is when it's like doubling up, 6-foot double ups.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can pick. You can even pick the conditions. So if you can pick the spot and the conditions to make it.
Yeah, I love it because it's kind of. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, it would have to be one of my favorite waves.
So Mouse took that too. So Mouse, because I'm a I mean, as most people are that have been to the Ments or spent time in Indo, it's
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer. But if you're picking, and he said like he's been and surfed really good Tonga, he said, and
Yeah.
and you would have surfed in
I've
some
surfed. Yeah, I've surfed pumping waves
amazing motion.
overseas as well.
So even if
Yeah.
you could pick the spot and the conditions, it'd be like 6 foot double ups at Beacon.
Unless it was like, if it was like Desert Point, but a right-hander.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of can't have it because it's a left. And
I know, exactly. And I don't want to go goofy because, you know,
especially
I'm natural.
especially that end section is evil at deserts.
Yeah, I know. But imagine if it was on your forehand.
It is on my forehand, so I'm pretty happy
Yeah.
with deserts. As a wave, I've surfed it. I used to do the cannonball run when I lived in Bali. I lived in Kulum, which is just in between like Seminyak and Canggu, and I used to just dart across to Padang Bai, and so I could be there any morning for any swell. And sometimes I just come back the same
catch
day.
the ferry, because you can catch the ferry whenever you want. So
yeah, the ferry's like every hour.
Yeah, so you can do that.
And it's busy, and people get irritated with that. But everywhere that's this good is this busy, and there's that sweep up the top. It's sort of where you've got to keep in position, and then you can surf down the line and get sucked back out again. And it's pretty all time if it's on your forehand. But you got to look at Mason O and those guys. He just almost prefers it on his backhand. But that end section, I've seen that end section hurt just about more people than I've ever seen anywhere surf. And I've surfed one part.
Yeah, I've snapped a few boards on that section.
You have?
Yeah.
What about like your body?
Nah, not too bad.
Right.
Yeah, which is kind of lucky there. Like, I reckon I've hit that coral head though. You know, the one that like, there's like a super shallow coral head just before that end section as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. There will be coral heads everywhere, but I just, there's some sketchy parts in that.
I mean, you're always going to have a pretty good look at that reef because it's only breaks on low, right? So
yeah,
it's all right. Well, that's notch two up for the choice of Beacon.
Yeah,
Beacon's winning.
But like, there's another spot that you know where.
Oh yeah.
We won't talk
pumping.
About. We're not going to talk about that. I didn't want to say it, so.
You just did.
I know.
But that's all we need to say about that. All right. So, unless there's anything you want to finish with, is there anyone do you want to say like a hello to anyone in specifically, or you want to mess with anyone from a distance that's going to be recorded before you go?
I don't know.
Here's your chance.
I don't know. To mess with who? Who should I mess with?
Mate, this is your last minute of this talk, so do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Just all right. Is there anyone you want to say hello to or whatever?
Say good day to everyone back at home. Everyone from 13th. I miss you all. It sucks that I'm not back there getting waves with you, but stay safe, stay inside. I don't think any of us are. I think everyone's kind of over it because I know I am.
Well, Daniel Andrews is supposed to give a big announcement tomorrow. We're all waiting for, which could change the shape of everything. So,
yeah, hopefully it does for everyone. Hopefully the restaurants and everything open back up, and the economy can get back up and running. So, yeah. But if there's that's pretty much all I've got to say.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get the pool back open. I'll be
back up and running.
I'll be a bit busier soon, and then hopefully we're not too far off that sort of announcement either. So, all right, thanks again for your time, mate. Good to have another special guest legend. We're going to get around to as many as we can to tell the stories that we need to get uncovered. And anyone, all you need to do to see these is subscribe to the 13th Beach Boardriders YouTube channel. Then you'll get all the updates when the new ones pop up. There's Hutto's first part up as of yesterday, and we've got about 4 from him. So we'll get yours up ASAP, mate. Thanks again.
Perfect. You.
Good on you, buddy.
See ya.
Talk soon.